Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Critical Critique. First critical critique of the year. First big stream. How you feeling, Ellie? You're refreshed?
No, I feel so bored.
You're so bored.
I'm so bored of anime.
So bored. Oh, we've got 5-0 in the chat. How you doing, 5-0? Yeah, so it's so boring, isn't it? Everything's so boring. I mean, it's not, because we're going to talk about something that's not boring. When we get to talk about it. It's going to be funny because we're covering a video about how anime is boring, and I'm going to be gushing over magical girls for like a solid half an hour.
And I will say that the second ED of Free Run is a good call or response to the first ED of Free Ren.
I haven't watched because I haven't caught up because I've been busy with other stuff, so I haven't caught up yet. But I have seen some people talking about how it's very cool. It's a very good.
You can the second ED has no spoilers whatsoever. It's pure vibes.
No. I'm not worried about that. But it's just I'm just saying I haven't gotten up to it. Oh no! Don't turn into trash taste. Oh no! Oh no!
No.
Don't turn me into.
All the Kadakawa money.
Podcast.
Oh no, the Kadakawa money.
No. First, instead of copy striking us, they're going to
give us money.
Give us money. Yeah. God. So anyhow, yeah. No. So yeah. New Year's has been pretty good. You know, I've been busy. As people may or may not have seen on the channel, I've been getting the clips done. We've been getting those sorted out and putting them up on the channel. I've got a nice backlog of them now, so expect to see them popping up over the next few weeks ish. Whenever Ellie decides to put them out.
Yeah, I'm thinking of. Well, we'll expand on it a little bit later, but I'm thinking sneakily middle of the week actually. You know, to fill up most, because we're going to stream mostly on the weekends.
Yeah. So So I'm gonna be working on clips. Since 5-0's here, if anyone else is watching the VOD, if there is any recommendations for moments in streams that you would like to see made into clips, do post comments about it so that I can know, because I have a pretty good idea of things that I want to clip. And I've already done, like I mentioned, quite a few of them. But it's always good to get ideas of what do the people want, Ellie? What do the people
same goes, of course, for videos to stream.
Yes. Same goes for videos and stuff. I think we've been getting kind of lazy on the announcement things. I think on the channel.
True.
Or at least I haven't been seeing them. So we should probably start doing that again, so we can get recommendations through that again. So yeah. So the same old. You know, if you've got recommendations, if you've got, you know, clip recommendations for me, put them in the comments, put them in the stuff, and we'll, you know, go through and I will see them basically. Like I will see them. I do read the comments. You know, I know every YouTuber says that, but I do actually.
Well, it's very easy to read all the comments when there are.
When there's only like one, yeah. There's only like one comment. Yeah, it does make it quite easy.
Even when there's a flood of 5 at once.
Oh yes, you and your critical writing bloody video constantly.
Terrible writing video.
Your terrible writing video constantly getting us views and engagement.
How terrible.
Oh god. So today we're going to be talking about apparently anime has become is boring. It's just boring now apparently.
Even manga.
Even manga. We have to pack it up, you know, go home. It's all over, boys. It's over. It's so over. So over. Yeah, we've got an interesting one, so I'll crack my drink open and we'll go ahead and switch over to the video. Oh, that's nice. Nice little energy shot there. Right. So yeah, this is why anime and manga has become boring. And I haven't I skimmed the video a little bit. I didn't really pre-watch it. I just kind of jumped around.
I believe I've watched this previous one time before.
At least good. So you're going to have your future sight on today.
Yeah. Well, I think, right? And of course, it's all personal opinions and whatnot in the end. Well, not to give conclusions before we even start. But it's always a feeling it always is a thing of where you begin, right? People say that this year of video games is super duper amazing, and it's mostly true, but my interests were mostly Zelda and Baldur's Gate. And those are two big games that are pretty good, that were very good. Oh, you click on it.
Oh, I'm just resetting it back to 0. It's on 1.
Zelda and Baldur's Gate, and every year there are two games that are pretty good that I like. So in that sense, I maybe this year isn't even that special in for video games.
Yeah, so I I guess we'll get into it when we start watching the video, but it's I tend to like have a different kind of view on the whole like anime boredom thing because I think part of this might be jumping the shark a little bit. I think part of the problem that people have is they try to watch everything even though they don't like 90% of it, right? Because they're trying to like be part of the conversation, or they're trying to like, oh, this is the hype anime everyone's talking about, so I have to watch it. And it's like, no, you don't. You should watch the things that you know you're gonna you think you're gonna like, right? You might dip your toe into some stuff, right? But you shouldn't force yourself to watch something if you're not having a good time. Is my philosophy on it, right? So
Yeah,
I have a sneaking suspicion that might be where this is going to go, but who knows? Maybe it'll go in a completely different direction.
recently, like there are a pretty just a straight combo of amazing female protagonists. The Apothecary Diaries, you got Freeran, you got um, there's I Favor the Villainess, all fun and good female protagonists. So that's for me on a roll, and not to say that I exclusively watch male protagonists, but um, a straight up shojos though you don't usually watch or anything, but damn, them shoujo got hands.
They got hands, yeah. Yeah, Pokemon trainer Nretsew would like to battle. Sends out Ellie. Ellie uses Future Sight, yeah. Take me forever, but I watch anime. Yeah. The seasonal thing is definitely part of that. I think we covered a video in the past about the seasonal anime thing.
Oh yeah, something like that. It's bad or something.
Yeah, I think that was one of the streams we did last year. We did a guy who was talking about that.
Nretsew, we only did streams last year.
Yeah, I know. All right, but anyhow, let's see what this guy's got to say. Let's see what he's got to say.
Has anime and manga become boring? This is a bit of a loaded question since it's so subjective. Some of you might be thinking, of course not, while others might answer yes with a question as to why they feel that way. The last 4 years have been incredibly interesting, given the boom in manga with series such as Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen,
Alright, that's time for my first critical critique. And that is... I said the thing.
Yes.
When there was the shot of the bird, and I think it was either Attack on Titan or Break Blade, or Broken Blade, it really felt like he cut a bit of silence in between two lines. Did you feel that?
A little bit. So far I'm kind of like I'm looking to see what his thesis is, right? Because he's talking about how it's subjective, and it's true, it is subjective, and it can depend on what you're into. Because look, if you're not getting a lot of what you're into, right, it's obviously going to feel a little bit stagnant, right?
If you like your Gundams, then the only one was last year with
was Witch of Mercury, yeah. So, or was that last year?
Well, the second season, the second half was in the beginning.
Second half was last year, yeah, something like that. But yeah, so I can kind of get like that perspective, but I'm interested and he's talking about how there has definitely been like a boom, right? Like there's been a lot of really good shows that have come out over the last 4 years. I mean, 4 years is a long fucking time in its own right. So, yeah, I mean, he's given himself quite a bit of league room there to kind of wiggle himself.
I'm tempted to pull up an anime list for all the.
No, not again.
Anime list.
Not again. We started the end of the year with an anime list. Begin the year with the anime list.
I mean, we like Mushoku Tensei, right? The big hype for a long time.
Yeah,
it was at least 2 years ago when it started, and and stuff like then you've got Gundam, what people liked, and then you got seasons of Attack on Titan, which is in the least of the 5 years. People like Slime. I don't necessarily. You got Kaguya-sama. You got Konosuba. Falls within the 4 years.
I mean, Overlord's been coming out.
Overlord.
That's getting a movie soon as well. That's going to be hype. That's pretty good.
So yeah, 4 years, plenty of anime, enough to fill your enjoyment for the year of good anime in the past 4 years.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see where he goes with this.
For a period of time, and the still polarizing ending to Attack on Titan, there was definitely a heavy saturation with new series catching the eye of readers all over the world. This last year, however, has felt a lot more stale, and obviously I'm not just referring to 2023, but really a good amount of 2022 as well. But perhaps I'm misplacing my sentiment, especially when you take into
quick pause because
2022 through to 2023 was stale.
No, wait, it was in 2021 into 2022.
No, you said 2023 and 2022. I'll just go back. Fuck it. Fuck it. All right, let's listen again.
This last year, however, has felt a lot more stale, and obviously I'm not just referring to 2023, but really a good amount of 2022 as well.
You're right.
But perhaps.
Yeah, I was right. So he's talking about last year and the year before.
All right, I actually pulled out a list. You got.
Boy, here we go.
You got for the good stuff, right? In 2022.
Right.
Spy X Family, Kaguya-sama.
Yeah, that came out.
Shikamori Isn't Just a Cutie. Then you got your boy Miao Ying.
Oh, yep.
And then this is just one season, right? And I'm skimming through stuff that I liked and people liked. Corner Streets, Magical Girl. If it very loose translation, very quick. I have the settings wrong for that. There's one season. Call of the Night, Licorice Recoil, Overlord, Made in Abyss, second season.
Fucking hell.
Isekai, Oji-san, or Uncle. Blah blah blah. Other shows. I see other good stuff.
TLDR. There was quite a lot of shows that came out.
Yeah, Mob Psycho and whatnot.
If I'm just thinking about like shit, even like last year, right? Like some pretty good stuff that came out last year.
Dress Up Darling is last year.
Oshi no Koi came out last year. That was pretty big. I wonder if I can set I have my own thing that I'm bringing up. If I go like 2022, where is it? 2022. Yeah, 2022 till infinity.
The Genius Prince Guide to Raising a Nation Out of Debt. Nobody watched it, or not
nobody watched it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I haven't seen many people talk about it, but I liked it a lot. Then good stuff. Teasing Master season 3. Whatever. Good stuff, right? There is a lot of good stuff, and I don't care if it's only 5 shows that are good out of a season. That is still 20 shows a year at minimum. I believe I mentioned a casual 20 good shows in a season. That is, half hour each. That is blah blah blah. 100 hours at minimum.
Like I'm just looking, like Bocchi the Rock came out. Reincarnated as a Sword. I mean, Nretsew Shadow. Dr. Stone. Spidery. Oh wait, Spidery Sky was 2021, so that doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
Almost counts. Well, actually, no. Wouldn't the second season of that have been 2022? What was their second season? I don't actually watch their second season.
No, there isn't second season.
Maybe I did. Oh wait, I think I waited on that one. That's probably why. Because I probably waited on that one and I watched it later. That might be why. I don't know. I'm just looking at my Nretsew or whatever, trying to determine when I watched. Trying to determine when I watched things. But yeah, no. It's.
But anyway, this is
yeah,
just
we're rambling on. We're rambling on.
This is the past year where he says anime has become stale, and then he says that even in the past 4 years, anime has become stale.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I agree with that. I don't think that you could make the argument. Like, it's gonna really depend on what. Like, he's gonna have to define why he thinks that, because on the face of it, I don't agree. I think there's been plenty of stuff that's come out for everyone, really. Like, I think there's been at least a number of really big hitters for a lot of people. So,
Cells at work. Who doesn't like cells at work?
Yeah. So yeah, let's see where he goes with it. Let's let him continue.
I'm misplacing my sentiment, especially when you take into consideration series that were returning, plenty of new series coming out, and some of the series I've listed are still ongoing, and there's plenty of others that have been completed for years now that I haven't even read yet. So then what is it? Because clearly the answer doesn't lie within the medium itself. I did a video over a year ago talking about my difficulties to watch an anime due to the set pacing it has and my lack of ability to focus when watching one. Even if I think the series is really, really good, it is impossible for me to sit down and watch an anime on my own. The problem now is I'm having the same issue with manga. It's come to the point where I've been reading really good manga like Yona the Dawn and Yusugoi, but I'm having the most difficult time making it past 1 chapter a day. Anyone who's followed me long enough knows that this isn't the first time something like
So it seems like a skill issue. I joke. I joke. I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm talking more about this seems like a personal problem for him, rather than a
also
statement.
the cutting out of breathing pauses is getting a little bit extreme. I feel. Don't you feel it?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, he's talking about pacing, but maybe he needs to pace his own video a little. He needs to pace his own video a little bit.
You can let 1.5 seconds of silence is okay.
Yeah, it's okay to take a breath. You don't have to
pretend you don't breathe.
Yeah. So on this idea though, right? Because while this is a personal issue for him, so it's kind of hard to criticize, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have this. I do agree that there is a pace, like anime does have a pacing problem sometimes where it can be, for me at least, it's too fast, or it feels like shit's happening like way faster than it should. And that could just be due to the format. However, I actually think that issue has been getting less of a problem because animes have been going for longer, right? Like, you still have 12 episode cores, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of anime, especially the bigger ones, have been going for at least 24. Like, they'll get 2 seasons these days, right? Or they're even longer in some cases, right? Like Furen, for example, that's,
Wasn't that slated for an immediate 5 seasons, kind of like Mushoku Tensei?
It's got 28 listed on Nretsew right now, so it's 28. But that's kind of what I mean. Like, there are animes coming out that are already getting slated for. Like, instead of it just being like, oh, there's 12 episodes and then maybe you'll get a second season, right? Or, maybe you'll get, another one, right? It seems like a lot more anime are being made with the intent of there being more episodes, and that affects the pacing because they're not making it with the idea of, oh, we've got 12 episodes, we might not get licensed for another 12 episodes. We have to fit as much as we can in those 12 episodes as possible. So that causes the pacing to get, you know what I mean, right? It changes the way that they kind of pace the show, right? So I'm kind of like, while I can agree with him that there can be a pacing problem in some shows, right? I personally feel like, as an industry, I think we're starting to move away from that a little.
I know a small fact of anime in general, right? In Nretsew, did you know anime is a TV? program.
I didn't know.
It's a
I did not know.
It's a TV medium, which means that anime or as any TV program, you should be able to look away from the anime from time to time to do some cooking or getting something from another room and come back and not be completely lost. That is how anime has been for a long time. Just like almost like any program. That's why there are more flashbacks. Repeat. You might have missed an episode from last week. That's why there are flashbacks and recaps and recaps for like a half what happened two episodes ago. That's all there not to just fill time and save on animating because you just reuse the previous stuff, but also because you want people to keep watching, and therefore you need to catch up a group of people who have missed something, because some people will have missed something. Now, this is complete speculation on my part, but we have been moving more in the on-demand internet streaming stuff, which may have allowed for anime to have a stricter pace, stricter planning, and less recap, less flashbacks, less of that kind of deal.
Because they're probably making them with the idea that it's going to be an online show in mind rather than a TV show.
So you can have the most fanciest fighting scenes of all time. The people will not accidentally miss it because their brother called what they wanted for dinner. But they will have the ability to press backwards, to press left key.
You can go back, or you can pause it.
And you can watch that scene a million times and share it all around because it's such a good scene, and then get other people to watch the anime. So this is my speculation. It's nothing. It's only based on anime was on TV. Is now less on TV. That's the basis for the speculation. That anime is now allowed to be more. It can be faster. It can have tighter pacing, and you can have fancier scenes that aren't wasted if somebody looks away for a second.
I think that's an interesting idea. I kind of agree with you on that. I think that the change in media is definitely probably affecting how they produce these shows, right? And I think that might have. I would have to go back and watch some older stuff, I think, and actually get like a feel for this, right? Because it seems like something that, as time's gone on, it's probably been a subtle change that's happened over time, and we just haven't noticed it, right? But I feel like it would be interesting to maybe go back and watch something from like 2013 or something, right? And see like, okay, how does the pacing compare to something that came out, in a more modern season?
Because recaps are that. There are no recaps anymore. I mean, I believe that even something like Soul Eater had recaps from what happened last episode, and I think I may have imagined them right now. But you know how memory works, right?
Conjuring them out of your head.
But I think there might have been a few recap moments in Soul Eater, but now they're not at all. At most, there was that one recap of Gundam because it was like a 2.5 year pause between season 1 and season 2.
So yeah. Let's see where our man goes, because he's talking a bit about his personal stuff now. So let's see if what his conclusion he's going to come to.
Like this has happened, and I'm not the only one. Many people in my close circle haven't read or watched a new series in months. It was taedium, simply boredom in Latin. I had reached a point where I had gotten extremely bored of anime and manga as a whole. To better understand this,
a little bit. And I think that. Oh, hello. We have a visitor.
I've always concluded anime is shit.
G'day, Unknown. How you doing?
I have watched almost 2,000 anime just to confirm that it is indeed shit.
You know that we are streaming,
thousands
right?
of hours. Yeah, we're streaming. Thousands of hours of animes to make sure that you know 100% that anime is shit.
No, not just thousands of hours, thousands of anime.
And and days of
That's
anime.
way more.
Yeah, days of anime. So yeah, we are watching the.
I don't know. I
apparently
literally
anime.
just saw it was streaming and saw the title.
Yeah, apparently anime is boring, and that's the.
I
statement.
agree. After spending about 7 years in watch time, yeah.
Yeah. So
I spent more time watching anime than I have not watching anime.
Oh yeah.
But
so this guy basically all you've missed is this guy has basically just been like something anime, watching, reading less anime manga, something boredom, something. That's pretty much it.
Are you going to see?
Watch to give a links in the chat.
Oh, so you're really going to join? All right.
Sure. I honestly don't know what it is, but I'll join. I'm bored.
Why not? Surprise guests. I mean, if you scroll up the chat, there's a watch to give.
Perfect marketing opportunity. Get those tweets.
Perfect marketing opportunity. Collab time.
Yeah. Are you in the watch together? I can't.
We'll just wait for Unknown to pop into the watch gear and then we'll continue. Yeah, 650 is feeling nostalgic. Yeah, the boys are back together.
All right, there we go. Got the name.
Man came in here just to flex. He came in here just to flex. Unknown, apparently, according to the chat.
It's true.
Yeah, you gotta get that flex on.
Got the perfect name for this as well.
Yeah. All right. Let's continue.
I looked into boredom and what leads up to it. How could I possibly get bored? Many of these series have been incredibly impactful with its themes and its lessons, as well as providing characters constantly that I love to.
And I was just like, no, no.
That I love to see grow or deteriorate as the series progresses. To add on top of that, I have the privilege to talk.
Oh yeah, I do see what you mean, Ellie, about him like
cutting out 1.5 seconds.
He's cutting. Yeah, he's like there should have been like a natural like pause
breathing,
there, but he cut. Yeah, I feel like he could have like had a little bit of a pause there instead of it just being a jump cut in his voice. Like, yeah, I get. Yeah,
I have felt the temptation to cut out every bit of breathing in the editing, and I may have done something like that in my that
back
video.
In the day.
No, in that in my terrible writing video, where I hate on him for no reason. Yeah. I have also felt the temptation. I have done also a little bit of this, but if you do it too much, this is what you run into.
Yeah. Let's continue.
About these things on which I could not be more grateful for, and to even add on top of that, there are so many different genres of stories, each with their own art style, setting, and unique spin on things that I'm familiar with. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything takes inspiration from something else, but it's the way each series deviates from those commonalities that allows them to develop a unique identity over time. So please stop acting surprised when a mangaka takes inspiration from another one. The point is, how could I possibly get bored with all of these?
I thought it was like a really big thing to be against plagiarism.
Well,
I thought we had a whole H-Bomber guy arc on that.
We kind of did, but I don't think that's necessarily what he's saying.
Nah.
But what do you?
Wait, so if I just label it inspiration is fine?
This video is way before H-Bomber guy. Also, it's
this is way
that is
before
not
too,
true.
but-
This person, I know this person. They have a time machine and watched the H-Bomber guy video, and that's where they got the inspiration for this video.
Yeah. So,
or should I say the plagiarism for this video?
So his point right now, though, right? I feel like he said a lot of things without actually saying anything.
No,
Like,
he's
he
just
kind
kind of repeating itself
He
in
just
different.
described like 80% of AmiTube.
He said a lot of like I don't want to say it's pretentious, but it's like whimsical prose stuff. You know, like he sounds like he's doing that thing where he sounds really smart, but when you actually listen to what he's saying, he doesn't say anything at all. Like he hasn't said like
because when making videos, I can understand doing that because while you are being less effective in explaining it, it does sound better and looks better. That's why people do it.
Yeah, obviously. But my problem is I don't actually know what his point is, right? Like what did he actually say there? He just said anime is diverse medium. How could I possibly get bored with it? Something.
Well, right now,
something anime. Like he made this weird like diversion into anime references each other and people.
Yeah, that is kind of a future. I mean, I know that he's going to elaborate that on a little bit more, but there's really just this video is then kind of taking future points, bringing them forward without explanation, because him saying that you recognize things from previous stuff that's expected because, you know, people reference to JoJo still, or, you know, the whatever Gundam poses, Gundam
finding all the JoJo references in the Bible.
Yeah.
Whatever. So why? But he's mentioning it right now when he hasn't built up to it. It kind of feels like he's building an argument. He's giving a reason why you recognize stuff from other works now, instead of beginning with maybe I recognize this stuff from too much stuff from other shows, but it's kind of expected because authors and whatnot take inspiration from each other.
He's almost saying like this is a possible reason why he's finding it boring. But
yeah, but he's giving the reason before the argument.
Yeah, and it's that's why I'm getting like kind of confused, because it's like I don't really get what's the thesis statement here. Like what is the actual point being made? Like, is anime boring because it's self-referential? Like, what's where are you going?
Because it's all the same, just a different coat of paint.
Yeah. All right, let's continue.
These upsides. Boredom itself derives from the simple feeling of being uninterested, taking place in the amygdala and prefrontal cortex, which dictates decision-making and planning.
That sounds
being
like a
bored
skill
is no
issue.
longer.
I literally said that before you joined in. No, actually, I was like, this is a skill issue.
It's true.
I don't know if we have to get into like, this is what boredom actually is, to talk about like why, like whether or not anime is boring or not. Like I don't know why this feels really kind of snooty to me. He's just like, I'm gonna lecture everyone on what boredom is, you know.
I mean, if you want to go toe to toe with boredom, I've been shipped out at sea with nothing to do for over a year. If he wants to go,
yeah.
Is no longer having the desire to be interested in the details of whatever it is, and most commonly feeling stuck in a repetitive and monotonous experience. Almost like when you're halfway through a semester and you walk in a chemistry class. You could not have paid me enough to have paid attention. But chemistry is something I've never liked from the beginning. Becoming bored of something you're passionate for is a whole other experience. Frustrating that the very thing you turn to in order to be entertained and to escape a bit from everyday life feels a part of everyday life. Although this is slightly deviating from the main point of the video, I do want to point out that losing the desire for one's hobbies or activities that you enjoy over an extended period of time can be a sign of depression. That isn't really the topic of this.
Okay.
Yeah, he's built just.
I mean, that's true.
Yeah,
kind of. He's not wrong. I'm not saying he's wrong. It's just like, okay.
Although I'm kind of curious if because he's talking about losing interest in hobbies and everything like that. He says that could be. So we're saying that he's not inherently trying to say that's the reason and blah blah blah.
Oh no,
he's probably going to do this. But I wanted to say, but the way he describes it, it sounds like that's his only hobby, and I was like, that could actually be a bigger reason to it.
Yeah. That tends, like, because I tend to jump around. Like I'll play video games for a bit, and then I might jump to anime, and then I might jump back to drawing, and then I might jump back to like you jump around a little bit sometimes, And I think that having that variety is kind of important. Where, I think it was something that I remember talking about with my teachers when I was doing my certificate, right? Where one of the things that they recommend that artists do is to sometimes switch mediums. So let's say like you do like painting, right? Like do a sculpture, right? Like get some clay, do a sculpture, do a thing, right?
Tape a banana to the wall, sell it for
tape a banana to the wall. Yeah, like that's you got to do some of that sometimes. And the reason that they recommend doing that is because it gives it's like hitting a reset button on your brain. Right, yeah. Because if you're doing the same thing for so long, right, you're doing drawing or you're doing like painting or whatever, right? If
it's
you do
like
that,
trying to mine diamond with a stone pickaxe.
Yeah, so you have to hit the reset button on your brain to kind of be like, right,
you got to go gather other material so you can later get to that diamond.
Yeah. So when it comes to like relating it back to the video, right, I feel like sometimes you do have to kind of step back and maybe not watch as much anime, right? And just like, hey, instead of trying to watch every fucking anime every season, I'll just watch like a handful, right? I'll just watch like one or two.
Personally, if you're going to talk about our personal experience of how to avoid boredom, I think my mechanism right now for anime to not get boring is to read the fancy books, read The Soul of Anime, The Anime Machine, the Moe Manifesto, Otaku Database, all those academic and semi-academic books on anime, Japan, culture, etc., is interesting because it suddenly gives me a fresh perspective on anime and how it's done and how it's created and how it gets and how it comes to me, and then I have a fresh perspective on anime. I can watch every and that's also why I still like isekai. When people say, "Oh, isekai is boring, it's stupid, it's all the same," I say, "No, it's not the same. Look, that took inspiration from Dark Souls, not Dragon Quest. That's interesting." And that's
yeah.
I don't know. Me, I can go almost forever watching anime without being bored. I mean, that doesn't mean I won't get pissed, like watching Baki, and then I rated a 1 out of 10.
Yeah, but
that fucking season was just that fucking terrible, but I still wasn't bored.
I mean, you're entertained just in a different way. Entertained just in a rage-inducing way, not a.
But we have all our different ways, right? So I liked. I have when I just became more interested in the background of anime, and then I picked up, the high and mighty Ivory Tower books, and oh damn, there's another perspective on watching anime, manga, and all the rest. And that's interesting. That makes anime interesting more than just a personal enjoyment.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to necessarily just be like something that's completely unrelated, right? Like when I'm mentioning, brain resetting, right? You just got to find some way to like take a step back and do something different for a little bit and then come back to it. shake it up a little bit. But anyway, let's keep going.
This video, but if you think you're struggling with mental health, do yourself a favor. Don't go self-diagnosing on TikTok. Please seek professional help. But boredom is a very different feeling from being tired.
Man, I know a lot of people that would hate that message. What? You think I don't have it if I don't have a diagnosis from a doctor?
Yeah, the whole self-diagnosis thing is like an entirely different topic.
I feel like I feel kind of like it's almost it's a kind of an American problem where healthcare expensive, so to get a diagnosis you have to pay $1,000, and that gives depression on its own.
You don't have to pay thousands of dollars for a diagnosis.
Yeah, I don't know what the situation is like.
It's like just like $40 or something. It's real fucking small.
Yeah, but
down here it's.
I should know. I've been diagnosed with shit before.
Yeah. No one would know.
But if you get a depression diagnosis, then you get on some databases and whatnot, and then risk lists.
No, I mean the bigger problem is when you get diagnosed with certain things, you pretty much lose your rights. You lose your Second Amendment rights. You lose depending on what you might have, you might even lose your ability to drive and whatnot. Like that's the bigger reason why people don't want to go to the fucking certain thing. And you also lose out a lot of fucking jobs. Is that the more you're diagnosed with, the less it's like your ability to live in life is like drastically capped. So even if we got it to the point that it was completely free to do it, all the medical stuff was all cared for and whatnot, you're still throwing quite a bit of your rights in America away.
Right. All right. Well, anyway, let's get back to the video.
At certain points, boredom more so stems from our mind having a lot of energy but nowhere to direct the energy, thus leading to a lack of interest and focus. That would explain why I can't sit still when I watch something at times. For those that feel bored with anime and manga, I think it's largely been due to an overexposure or an oversaturation of this medium of entertainment.
Alright, here's the thesis.
Yeah, here we go. Finally.
How many minutes in Nretsew?
About three and a half ish.
Of the 10-ish?
Of the 8, 9.
8. Ooh, getting out to the half. That's bad.
Yeah. So basically, like, this idea of oversaturation, it's kind of like what I was saying before. It's like, one, you don't have, like, I know one's going to disagree, but you don't have to watch every single thing that comes out in the season if you don't want to.
I disagree.
Right? I disagree. You don't have to, because I only watch like a handful of things a season. I only go after the things that I want to watch, and then if there's something else that comes up later, like, I mean, I've been watching Immoral Guild, because that's been quite fun. I'll go back and watch something.
Hey, Nretsew, go watch Apothecary.
Yeah, the Apothecary thing. Yeah. Your new fun time anime. Yeah, like this is what I mean, right? Like, I can always go back and watch something. Like, I don't have to watch something seasonally in the moment, right? Because I tend to be very detached from the whole, you have to be part of the ongoing conversation about the show on the nebulous interwebs.
The Nretsew elitist is like, I fucking hate casual anime fans.
I fucking hate these casual.
So I have a accompanying theory, an idea that maybe he was more in seasonal groups in the beginning, right? Or in groups that what was kept up on the seasonal things, and it was fun to watch together the seasonal things, but because his friends group and himself no longer do strictly seasonal things, he doesn't need to, and there's no group enjoyment anymore, and therefore he only watches for himself. And that might for him be less interesting than his group watching experience, and maybe he's comparing his group watching experiences to his solo watching experience that may have made it less interesting.
That's possible. Yeah, that's definitely.
But then he still he still watches anime for the conversation that never happens. So then it's time wasted, and then you go watch, and then, oh, I'm watching this, but I already kind of feel what it's like, and it's just when somebody's going to ask, I'm going to say, oh, it's kind of like the same. You know, I can see a situation where he is going to pull up and watch the show alone, and he thinks this looks like other show, and then he thinks, oh, what kind of video I'm going to make out of this. He's going to make watching anime a job. He's not interested in the concept.
Because if he's an AnyTube channel, then yeah, he has to like come up with.
And then he's not interested. Then he's not the conversation. Is a conversation that he already had because it's the same of this other show. So
well, there's a few things about this. One, it sounds like his problem is that he's an AnyTuber. But two, the second thing is I can't really wrap my head around being an anime fan, but only watching if you can talk to other people about that show.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
That is less to do with being an anime fan, but rather you want to socialize and you're just using anime as a topic. Of course, anime would become boring for you if you're doing something like that. You're watching some kind of show and be like, oh. But I don't get to talk about this, and so this is kind of boring. It's like, of course, you would be like that. But we're in the context of them being an AnyTuber. It's like, oh, I'm watching this show. Watching this show means I can't watch something else during the same given amount of time. Oh, because of that, I can't, get anything out of this. And I was like, that's so fucking weird.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, because I don't have that problem at all, because I tend to watch and read, and like the only time I really actually like talk about what I'm watching or reading is either on the show with Ellie, right? Or, you know, the odd time that we have like a VC call or whatever, like every now and then, and we'll like talk about all the shit that we've been up to, right? So it's kind of like, I don't have this like socialization thing tied to my enjoyment of watching anime. Like, I watch anime in my own time and my own pace as I want to watch it, right? So I don't. It makes it very hard to not necessarily empathize, but to understand, right? Because I don't have that same perspective of anime watching as a social activity, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand the fact that they are doing it. I can't really understand the why.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's like I can get like, oh, this is a thing that people do, because I've seen people that do this, right? Like, not just him, but there are other people that are like, especially like on Twitter or whatnot, you'll encounter people like that where it's like they seem to only be watching anime as like a social activity to be able to talk about the fact that they are watching anime, or to be part of a fandom, or to be part of a social group, right? And it's very weird. I just think it's weird, right? Because I don't view media in that kind of context, right? Like,
well, I mean, that's not exactly why I say it's weird. I say it's weird because there's like billions of other things you can do, and you can find something that you truly enjoy and get the social interaction that you want. Yeah. It's like, why be an anime fan if that is
like video games would be a much better fucking, because there are plenty of social video games out there that you can play, like multiplayer games and whatnot. Even Minecraft, like straight up, like just get like on a Minecraft server and interact with people, you know, like there's plenty of different activities. So that's what I agree with you. I think it's weird, but let's see where he's going with this. Let's see because now he's made like a thesis. Let's see what he has to say about it.
I've spent more hours reading and making videos about what I've read more than anything else. Add on top of that some of the personal mental health that I'm still sorting out, and it made for a rather chaotic relationship with what I do. Sure, a lot of factors could be attributed to the nature of being a content creator, but even if I didn't do YouTube and I still had all these hours invested into anime and manga, I think I would still largely feel the same. One of the main issues is, despite the versatilities that stories can have, many times we lean towards the things we're familiar with and what we know to enjoy. The negative to this is once we've had enough of the same sort of thing, our minds proactively think we have it all figured out. The tropes and story arcs we've already been through, we expect and predict to be the same.
Yeah. Do you pick it up on that too, Unknown? Where it's like he's obviously cutting out like his breaths and stuff, but the transition between cuts is not good. Like his transition between like the different times he's cut out like a pause or a breath or whatever. I think it's just like he needs to add like maybe like a second and a half, or maybe like even just like half a second of pause.
Yeah, I mean,
cuts.
I think it's like the hotkey is Shift L, but I always like just mute that time and then cut it in half instead of like just take it all out there.
Yeah. Because it's like a harsh cut. Yeah, it's like a harsh. He's doing like a harsh cut where I think he needs to do like a better...
the harsh cut, but I found out just how bad that sounds. So instead, I mute it and then cut it in half.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, I was busy drawing in face, so I wasn't able to.
Yeah, I saw you having fun on the screen.
Cyberpunk lol.
Yeah, but I do think there is hobbies. If you get into a hobby like watching sports, and you always do that in the bar with your buddies, then when the bar closes or one of your buddies dies from alcohol poisoning, and then oh damn, maybe we shouldn't drink as hard anymore, and then the bar closes anyway because they did put pure poison in the alcohol, cocaine to get you addicted.
I agree with this. Anime is poison.
Nah, this is not what we're going.
Anime is exactly the same. Yeah. But no, I get what you're saying. It's like there are definitely times when the social activity connection thing again.
Yeah, and then of course the point is the bar closes. You're not watching it with your mates anymore, and then you watch it on the couch in front of the TV, and it's just a match you have seen before. With the same old players, with different, same number, same position, same tactics, different names on the teams. But you've all seen it before, and it's exciting when your favorite team gets into a finals. But every thing that isn't a final is just boring. That's a very reasonable, I think, progression of a hobby. Of watching something together, and then you transition it into watching it alone. Although, as I really think it's his content creation that is the problem here. That he in his content creation, the fear of missing out on the hot new thing, that he watches everything, and he's thinking about, and he has to watch everything.
How can I? Yeah. So I'm not familiar with his content, so I can't. I'd have to go and look at his channel and see what he covers and when he covers it, and if he's chasing the.
Well, it's not even if you're even if you're not chasing it, you're thinking about it. That's kind of the thing.
Yeah. I would agree that I think both consciously and subconsciously you do think about like, okay, when would be a good time to talk about this particular thing? Like, for instance, like if we were like. I don't know what would be a good... Like, let's say Fire Force actually would be a good example, because Fire Force has drama that comes... It's like a wave.
It's still going to this day.
It keeps coming back. Like,
it doesn't go out. It doesn't go away. Fire. It's a fire that burns.
But let's say, for instance, we wanted to do like a Fire Force video, right? Like, if there was like a Fire Force video we wanted to cover, it would be better for us to wait until the drama picks back up again. Like, you have like another like tweet that goes semi-viral or whatever about it, because then we could like capitalize on the fact that people are probably searching for it again. So there is like that element to it, I think, where
they would never do that.
We would never do that.
You can't, because capitalizing on it is capitalism,
and that's bad, Yeah. But like, I think both consciously and subconsciously, people, especially YouTubers, I think we do think about that, right? Like, you don't want to be like just chasing the trends all the time, but you also don't want to like
miss out.
Yeah, you don't want to miss out. There is that FOMO there. So I agree.
So I've already felt personally the streamer poison when I was streaming my Dungeon Keeper, playthrough, revenging my youth, never finished the game.
Also, I'm gonna refill my drink. So
I was revenging my youth because I never finished Dungeon Keeper 1. 2 is worse than 1. Never finished it, and I was streaming every other day or so for a week, and then I felt, well, I like Dungeon Sphere project got an update. Should I stream that? My fresh impressions of the big new update, and that's the poison. Considering not playing a game, waiting for it, and waiting to stream your fresh first impressions of the new update. That's the poison I felt, and I even made a separate save for the first. I considered, should I wait for my fresh playthrough impressions for the stream? Then I waited for. Well, I'll just have a separate save for it. That's still the poison I felt, and then I went way past on my personal save to the point I don't even want to go back to that early stream save. But it's still, that is the manifestation of the streamer poison. Waiting for to play something you like for it to stream.
Sounds, I would say, a little bit of a skill issue, because a better content creator could make anything into good content that is current.
No, I can stream Dyson Sphere project right now, but the point is that I felt a tingle to wait, not play it right now for myself, but wait for it to stream.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
Same for the next story we read, and once the story begins to prove that thought process true, the lack of interest immediately kicks in. You can see pieces of this in the conversation surrounding anime and manga in general.
If you can hear me scoffing, it's at every cut that I just have an involuntary scoff.
Wait, did he just say because you know what's going to happen, it's now boring?
Yeah, kind of.
No. Hang on, I'll just go back for a bit.
I kind of wonder what their opinions on rewatching is then.
Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting. But yeah, let's hear what he has to say.
Same for the next story we read, and once the story begins to prove that thought process true, the lack of interest immediately kicks in. You can see pieces of this in the conversation surrounding anime and manga in general. The amount of times I've heard typical shonen, and the amount of times I said it myself when describing a series, is mostly the result of people reading a few of the most mainstream shonen titles and believing every shonen that has ever existed follows the same style of writing. Are there similarities within the demographic? Yes, of course, but to this day I should not be getting people saying Attack on Titan's a seinen when it is a shonen. Overall, I think...
Okay. I can kind of get what he's saying, but at the same time... I disagree.
Attack on Titan is a racism.
I knew you were going to say that. I was waiting for it. But I feel like yes, I think we kind of go through this a lot with the isekai situation, don't we, Ellie?
Because yeah, like always.
Go, all the isekais are the same, when it's like, no, they're not actually, right? So I kind of get what he's saying, but at the same time, I feel like this can kind of come down to, again, that whole watching the same thing, following the same trends, not branching out enough, not doing different things enough, diversifying your media portfolio or whatever, Like I think that's kind of...
Yeah, but we talked about before of the trends, right? You had not too long ago, if I'm correct, it was before Isekai there was at least the rom-com was king.
Yeah, you had like harem anime and moe anime.
I believe then moe came after the harem for a little bit. The slice of lives were big right after the big comedy, If I'm correct, right? we had isekai, or we have isekai, one or the other. Before that, we had slice of life, big slice of life, cute girls doing cute things, K-On! And every other club, high school girl club. Before that, we had either moe or harems, romantic comedies. That's my feeling at the moment. And before
moe
that,
definitely was not before K-On! All that much. Like K-On's where it. Well, technically, Ava's where it became exploded, but K-On! Is like the one that found it and like redefined it as much as it could.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I feel like this just all sounds to me like it sounds to me like this guy needs to maybe take a step back and just kind of start watching different things outside of the pure view of having to watch it for YouTube or having to watch it with a group, or like do some more stuff for you. Basically, is where
one of the things I used to do when I get into a rut on what to watch is I just go to the website and hit a randomize button and just see what it is.
Yeah, just see what pops up. You never know. Might be good. So let's keep going.
The conversation surrounding anime and manga as well has become more monotonous than my voice. It's all mid, peak fiction, clears, and some of the occasional bi-weekly sideshow of the Black Clover fandom getting into it with another fandom for some reason. I don't know who starts it or why it starts, but it always happens, and it's always so funny to see from an outside perspective. So if the feeling of repetition exists when you're watching anime,
I don't know.
No, I mean by outside. Okay, that could have been two things. He's finally outside of his house, but no, I meant an outside as in like he's watching anime fans from an outside perspective.
He was talking specifically about apparently like the Black Clover fan base getting into beef with other fan bases. I don't fucking know. I don't really.
I kind of figured he meant the anime fandom watching it all from like an outside perspective.
Anyway. The discussion around it isn't much help. But even if you really enjoy a certain genre of manga, be it horror, romance, action, mystery, eventually too much of the same thing can feel uninteresting. The simple solution would be to read out of a genre you typically read, but once you do that enough, then you start to predict things that happen in your mind regardless of the type of story it is. And if the story early on doesn't offer something...
How much does it disturb you?
I don't know.
No, you don't constantly hear him cutting out every breath, every second of not speaking.
I kind of do, but I'm like, I'm more just kind of like, I don't really like.
Man,
he's not making a point. He's just kind of going off.
I disagree, but I don't. For me to fully judge this point, I really want to hear his opinion on rewatching, because if you he's harping on it again, that if you know what is going to happen, then it's boring. And it's like, man, I really want to know what his opinions on rewatching is.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't personally,
because I don't buy this. I think he means something else. He just doesn't know how to explain it. That's that kind of, I'm getting that feeling too now you mention it. Like it feels like he's trying to tap into something, but he's not quite articulating it. Because I agree with you. Because I mean, I personally don't rewatch a lot. Like I might, maybe once in a blue moon I'll rewatch something, but it's usually not. It's very rare for me to do a rewatch of something. So I think so from my personal perspective, I don't have as much of a stake in that. However, I agree with you that I would be very interested to know what his opinion on it would be, because again, if his thesis statement is anime is getting boring because you've watched so much anime that anime just all kind of blues together, right? To boil down the perspective, right? If that's what his point is, then how does rewatching fit into that? Like when people like maybe haven't watched something for like 2 years or whatever, and then they come back to it, like. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so we'll see. Let's see, because we've still got we're past halfway. We're getting there. So we'll see if he does mention it.
New or exciting to the mind, dropping the series is a certainty. Some have more patience, but even then, if a series doesn't become uninteresting at the start, then it eventually will. Again, this is all under the assumption that you were under the same predicament I often find myself in. The feeling of boredom and disinterest for an anime or a manga comes in once we feel that all the time we have invested into this story has been nothing but a waste of our time.
Hey,
this is partially why I say it's
where,
not always what's
where
in the story.
my quick...
Oh shit, it's doing the Naruto scene. Oh, it just went away.
No, this is Ghibli, I believe.
No, the one right before the Ghibli was the Naruto one.
Yeah. All right, Ellie, what were you going to say?
Yeah, he feels like when it's a waste of time, right? That's only when he is, psychoanalyzing. That's only when you feel like there's an expectation of something. And if it kind of feels more like an expectation of content, almost, than an expectation of personal enjoyment. Because he recognizes... Because he recognizes good shows, and he says, I like good shows and good manga, but I get even bored of the good stuff. Why? But then but then what is the boring part? Well, maybe it's because you feel like it's wasting time. It's a problem of productivity. You have to put out the content.
Yeah, and if you're not doing something that favors
the content,
then you're wasting time. Yeah. We can have a look at the chat because we've been kind of
ignoring chat
a little bit. Yeah. No, I have it open and I do read the chat. I got it open and I'm keeping an eye on it. David's come in and said, to begin with, the feeling of boring is a modern luxury. This just means the abundant number of anime title and genre had put him into boredom, which is a good thing nonetheless. All right, interesting. People saying that they rewatch stuff. Particularly boring. Nobody watched classic theatre play anymore. Being predictable is different to being boring. I agree with David there. Like, I think something being boring and something being because I've watched a lot of things where it's like, oh, I see where this is going, and I've been able to kind of predict where it goes, but that doesn't necessarily ruin the enjoyment or make it boring because then it becomes a question of like, okay, if you know where what point A and point B are, then it becomes okay, how's it going to get from point A to point B?
I really felt like Frieren episode 1 when Frieren says it's only it's a mere 10 years, then it's like, oh damn, they're gonna die. She's going to get sad and regret it.
Yeah.
That's the first 3 minutes, 5 minutes of the show, and I already know that they're going to die. She's going to get sad and regret not spending the real time with them. And that's predictable, but I still got very sad when Himmel died.
Another thing that I felt was, I don't know how predictable it was, but when I was watching the Spider Isekai, with Kairi, they've already watched it, and I was watching it for the first time. I never even heard of it until then. Well, no, I wouldn't say that. I've heard of it, but I never actually watched any of it, I should say. But I did predict one thing, like way before it was revealed, like almost 10 or more episodes before it was revealed. I was like, the human parts it's showing us takes place in the future, and the spider parts it's showing us takes place in the past, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like, I predicted that. I don't think that made it boring at all. But I think there's certain things when the prediction is so... I would say the prediction has to be so simple that it doesn't do... It has zero twists, zero turns, nothing clever about it. And it's like, I can see somewhat that being boring, but I don't even know if I'd qualify just that. How to make something predictable boring? I'm not exactly sure how I even would really put that in words, because
I know something, right?
Is enough.
I felt that slime. It's always slime. Don't you forget.
You can't go fucking 5 minutes without mentioning slime.
One stream without slime.
Ever.
So, not about slavery this time. it's about that the main protagonist will win the fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Will win the fight, and the episode and the series continues. Not only did I feel was it predictable that our slime hero would win, I felt it was boring that he was winning, and that's because I didn't feel any stakes behind it. There was no tension behind him winning. That made it boring.
The easiest way of what's it called, for why I think Slime Isekai had some boring parts and boring fights is like it reminded me of playground fights where it's like, oh yeah, well my guy can lift 1 ton. Oh yeah, mine can lift 2 tons. And then it's like, person was secretly holding back their power. They can lift 5 tons.
Yeah.
And it kind of felt like that because like analyze what their powers actually are. Raphael is someone who knows absolutely everything. You just have to ask them first. One of the leader of the ogres, they have the power of being able to plan out anything, and it will be an instant win for your team or raid or whatnot. And it's like, that's absurdly overpowered and shit like that. Like Sion's cooking will taste good no matter what. Most broken shit ever. It is just like it just has a what's it called? I think it's more of having to do with lazily putting it in there rather than it being a thing.
Right.
How to describe it? It's more of like
because there are plenty of shows where it's like the overpowered character, they're going to win, right? Like, I mean, Nretsew and Shadow would be my example of that, where it's like, yeah, he's overpowered. No. Eminence and Shadow. So he's overpowered. Yeah. Well, same thing too. But it's like, he's going to win because he's overpowered. But then it becomes a matter of like, there's usually other things going on, right? Like, for instance, in Shadow, it'll be like they'll use it for like comedic effect sometimes, or they'll have other characters reacting to what's going on, and certain things will happen that are kind of, like, he's going to win, but they do things to still make it, entertaining and interesting, rather than just, he just shows up and he just wins, right?
Also, for our other overpowered isekai protagonist, Ain's Overlord, is not he's going to win, but it's more of what justification, what fears and anxieties pushed him to do this.
Yeah.
And then what he's going to explain afterwards, and how he's going to justify it after. So it's about the battle in Overlord in general is the social and anxiety realms, not the physical fights.
I think Overlord is more so, I'm so overpowered, but I need to explain this to my henchmen so that they don't kill me.
Very much.
So let's continue.
Sometimes it's the person experiencing it. A story can be great, but oftentimes it's the first story that impacts us greatly that's hard to replace. And so it's this never-ending search to find something that can make us feel something akin to that previous series. And if it doesn't, then disappointment can be soon to follow. I don't think it was a coincidence that my investment into manga went up during the time of the pandemic. Without the usual social activities and sports that often occupied my time.
See, this is why I'm thinking this is a social thing for him, because he's talking about how, lacking he's getting more into manga because he's lacking the social stuff because of the pandemic and whatnot, right? Like, perhaps he was this is kind of psychoanalyzing a little bit, but like, because he's
at least one
reading, because I assume like he's reading these manga, right? And then he's probably going off and talking about the manga that he's reading, perhaps either as part of his YouTube channel or on Discord groups or whatever, right? So he's socializing that way versus socializing in real life due to the with the pandemic stuff. And now that the pandemic is kind of over and he doesn't necessarily need that digital socialization as much anymore, that could possibly be why his interest is waning a little bit, I guess. Because this is all running under the assumption that he is. I don't want to say consuming because I hate saying that, but like he's consuming the animes and the manga as a social activity rather than a personal activity. Perhaps that is part of it. Is kind of where I'm getting at.
Yeah, that's kind of what I said.
Why he's talking about manga when we're talking about anime.
Well, he said both.
I think he's talking. Yeah, so well, the title is manga and anime, so he is talking about both. So
true.
Yeah. So, but anyway, let's see where he goes with this.
Along with many others, were forced to stay indoors, and what else to do but make the time pass by watching and reading things. This only fueled what would become this oversaturation of anime and manga. But if there's a positive in all of this is...
Jesus Christ, yeah, that cut.
I heard that cut. That was
you see what
so fucking clear. Holy shit.
Yeah, you see what we mean now? It's like, fuck, dude, come on.
I mean, I somewhat heard it here and there, but that one was just so insane.
Yeah, I want to just for the purpose of the stream, I'm just gonna let's hear that again. So yeah. Everyone in the chat and the VOD, listen to what we're talking about.
To do but make the time pass by watching and reading things. This only fueled what would become this oversaturation of anime and manga. But if there's a positive...
Yeah, like because he completely changes his pitch too.
It also sounds like he talked multiple times, like what's it called? It also sounded like he didn't even finish his last sentence and he was already talking. So it sounds like he overlaid audio.
Yeah. All right. One more time. One more time, and I'll let it play a little longer just to make sure it hits home.
Things. This only fueled what would become this oversaturation of anime and manga. But if there's a positive in all of this is...
it was so instantly right after.
No, it even overlaps a little, I'm sure.
It even overlapped a little too. Yeah, it's like, Jesus, dude, come on. Like, and it's such an easy problem to fix too. Like, it's such a, like, you just gotta do a little bit of a better job. Like, I mean, I know you're mentioning before how you do it, right? Like, there's an easy way to just make the cut seem a little bit less hard, right? You soften it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, anyway, let's continue.
Negative. Scientists, in fact, would argue that boredom can lead to more creativity in the mind, since it is searching for something to invest the energy into. We think how this could be better, more engaging, and entertaining, and so it creates something new from the inspirations we have, be it the good or the bad ones. Eventually, that thing created becomes popular, more things are created to follow the formula laid out by said thing, and eventually we get accustomed and numb to that thing as well. It's a bit of a vicious cycle. To take it a step further, this sort of problem with boredom can extend beyond just our forms of entertainment, but into our daily routine. Whether you're going to school, going to work, no matter what it is, if a large majority of one's time is devoted to something and nothing substantial changes, it can feel stale. After a while, it feels like you're slamming yourself into a brick wall.
Nretsew, I have an actual job.
Yes, you have a life.
I have a life. I go outside. I talk to co-workers and get...
Do you touch grass?
I do touch the base product which contains cellulose, which is kind of a grass, I guess.
Makes sense. So
but
yes,
but my job is doing quality control. That means getting a thing 1,000 times and checking if those 1,000 things are the same. My job is to make sure everything is the same. And my enjoyment of checking if those 1,000 things are the same is to get the numbers just right. If my testing produces numbers that are just the perfect numbers, that's good. That's good work. Good work for me.
You get that dopamine.
I get my dopamine.
You made the number just right.
I made the number just right. I did the test in record time. I have.
Yeah.
That's the good stuff.
Yes.
So doing a thing 1,000 times every day is not a problem. It's
for you at least.
For me, I know co-workers who would hate doing what I do, but I can, if I get those numbers right a couple of times and I get my test in under 30 seconds, then it's all good. Good work day. I did a good job.
Yeah. So I think this is definitely a skill issue, personal problem.
It has been from the beginning.
Yeah, like that's what this feels like to me. Like, it feels like he's just kind of, he's got this personal problem and he's kind of venting a little bit, and that's fine, I guess.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Yeah, like, and that's fine, I guess. Like, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah,
I
because
just feel like
if you're going to do them watching an anime, if to translate getting my numbers just right, under 30 seconds testing times, very nice. If I'm going to translate it into watching a passive medium, then it's to see, ooh, he's invoking this kind of way of producing anime. Oh, he's this kind of theory. Oh, this undercurrent of culture.
Yeah, he used
I think I can fix this. Let's just change his perspective on watching anime. His goal should be to watch so much anime that anytime someone brings up anything, you can already know about it, talk about it, and dunk on them about it, and say you watched about 2,000.
Yeah, no, but
that's how you go and win.
But I've started to read the fancy books, and it's fun to see the result of that, to see that come back in anime, because it comes back regularly enough. And that's maybe for me then the equivalent of getting the numbers just right, is to see those small hints, these gleans of the big picture fancy stuff in the anime that I watch. So even if the anime is boring or the same story 1,000 times retold, if it has that little element, the just right element, then it's a fun moment for me. I guess.
Right. Let's.
Can you point to the elements on the table?
Yes.
Nice.
All right. Well, let's see where because we're getting there. So let's see where he has to say.
Over and over and over again, and hoping for a different result. So if anime and manga has felt largely boring to you, what's the solution? Well, it's balance. One of the biggest issues that I have as a person is I'm a man of extremes. Ask anyone who knows me well enough, and one of the main words they'll use to describe me is obsessive. When I like something or I'm invested into something, I invest myself so much into becoming better at said things or knowing more about it, or having the same 10 seconds of a certain part of a song replayed over and over and over again, that I burn out.
So basically, he's autistic.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I mean that's not a problem. I'm autistic too. Like, I got the same.
I can see.
Shit, right? Like, I don't. I can sympathize, right? Like,
I can't. I'm normal.
There's a term that we use. It's called a hyperfixation, which is basically a term that's used in autism where you get hyperfixated on a particular subject or thing, even if it's like, and it can be like mundane things as well, right? Things that don't like make a lot of sense usually from an outside perspective looking in. Like, you'll have people that are like, it's similar to like, oh, people are obsessed with trains or some obscure form of media, or collecting stamps,
like
or,
this in the pop text.
Yeah, like, yeah. Yeah, like hyperfix. Yeah. I see it. Yeah. Like, there is, like, hyperfixation is something that is real in terms of autism, and that's what this sounds like to me. What he's describing is like he gets hyperfixated on something, and that means that he has to learn like it's like sometimes I have it where it's like I'll get into like some media series or some deep lore on something, right? And I have to know every single little thing about this particular subject, so I'll watch like hours long videos about it or whatever, right?
Like me and just as a Brad.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So it's like I get what he's kind of saying here. And I feel like that can lead to burnout quite quick sometimes once that hyperfixation sort of wears off, and you kind of be like, damn, I'm not as into this anymore, right? So yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say about it, to be honest. It's just like an observation, really. That's what it sounds like to me. So anyway, let's keep going.
Out quickly. The horrible solution I have to prevent myself from becoming obsessive is detaching myself completely, which in turn leads to separation and long extended breaks from things. But the
Damn, we're
solution is
detaching these
balance.
breath marks.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah. But like, I mean, like detaching yourself from it is like, yeah, I guess. Like, I mean, if it works for him, it works for him. You know, let's keep going.
Balance. Easier said than done. But when one becomes bored and soon apathetic, it's important to change things up and include other things that can take us away from whatever we're getting bored of. Managing a schedule so we can fill our day-to-day routine with other things. Even new things that we might be uncertain that we'll enjoy it or not. If you don't go to the gym, try incorporating that into your schedule. Tired of anime and manga? Try watching live action and movies, or even try books.
Fuck no.
I mean, he's pretty much just fucking saying the shit that we already were saying like an hour ago. He's
Hey,
you
look,
know, like, just
Nretsew.
Nah, I disagree. No fucking live actions.
Nretsew, Dutch boy.
Wait, what was that?
Dutch boy.
Oh yeah.
Red, white, blue.
But
Blonde hair.
But anyway, but no, like he's pretty much just saying the same shit that we were saying, like, you know, diversifying what you're doing, like resetting your brain by switching gears into something different, you know, like that's pretty much what we were saying before. So he's pretty much coming to the same conclusion that we came to, like, except we took significantly less time to get to that conclusion than he did. Okay, anyways.
In comics, go for a walk. Fill your life with things that can give you a breath of fresh air and allow your mind to appreciate the simple things. I find myself enjoying a manga when it's bad more than good recently, because when I'm reading a series, despite it being bad, in my personal opinion, I get to have fun with it. It's a rarer experience for me since you guys tend to recommend a large majority of really well put together series. Therefore, I get to have fun with it again.
Like
I even found myself
like Ori. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be talking about looking up the magical girls.
I'm sorry, Samuel. You don't want my opinion on the boys.
Yeah, you don't want Unknown's opinion on the boys yet. I remember when we had that. What was that? We had that VC like ages ago.
It was like 4 hours of me just shitting on the boys.
On the boys, yeah. And it was like,
it was like 4 hours long.
Yeah. Anyway.
Reading things that I knew once sparked a feeling.
He's talking about rereading things. Hang on. I'll go back. Because you wanted to know about that Unknown, so I've gone back. So let's listen.
You guys tend to recommend a large majority of really well put together series. Therefore, I get to have fun with it again. I even found myself rereading things that I knew once sparked a feeling other things I have read since have just not been able to replicate. Adding on top of that, I've made a conscious effort to add other things throughout my daily life, but it's something that I'm still working on. So clearly the issue wasn't.
Oh, so he's like, so he does reread things,
And
but he's not going to talk. But he's not going to talk about. Not going to extrapolate on it. Unknown. He's decided to just kind of like not talk about it. Oh man.
I really, really wish, because he just brought up rewatching. I really wish he said, now does he find rewatching boring? I really wish
does he reread or rewatch whatever it is and then have the same level of boredom? That would be an interesting point. He probably should have gone into that. Yeah.
Gosh.
So,
I want to reread Angel Densetsu.
All right, well, we're almost finished. Let's finish the video. Then
wasn't the medium of it at all. It was me and how I was managing my time with it. So when I took some time to look at it, anime and manga hadn't become boring. I just needed some balance.
Damn, what a boring conclusion.
Yeah, like he pretty much just like, again, it's like he came to the same conclusion that we came to like an hour ago. It just took him like, you just had to like beat around the bush to get there. That's kind of the problem. So
just wanted to make a video, you know?
Yeah, just wanted to make a video. So I guess final thoughts. Man needs to work on his editing. Needs to work on his audio editing. Gotta not harsh cut so much. I feel like the video kind of didn't really have a cohesive through line. He sort of just kind of went around.
I like what Sammy said.
Yeah.
To say I need a life.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like, 10 minutes to fucking tell to be like, man, I need to like start a daily planner or some shit, you know? Like fuck, dude. Like, I feel like that's kind of the problem. Is he didn't really have a cohesive through line, and it ended up being a lot more like sort of personal, introspective type shit rather than like a commentary on whether or not the medium itself is getting boring. If that makes any sense, because I was kind of expecting more of a anime is boring because XYZ, not I need to touch grass. Yeah, like
when I saw the title, I thought that's what it was gonna be. But
because when you're talking about like subjective shit like that, right? Like, of course we can sit here and psychoanalyze the dude, and we kind of did, right? But it's like that's not really like that interesting, you know? Like, because it's super personal to him rather than being like something that we can kind of sink our teeth into. And
it's
like,
crazy how it could be super personal to him and we still prove him wrong.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Elliot, what do you got to say?
He should have put his thesis at the beginning and then give reasons for it, because the reason for his boredom was kind of the reason for his boredom was kind of given halfway through the video. He first mentions that he might just be able to recognize more stuff and copy each other, stories from each other. So why say that before it's a me problem? Why?
I don't have that much of a problem as long as it goes about it inside the video. And the reason I don't really have that much of a problem is because you got to front load the beginning of your video with all the questions and get inside someone's head. And it's like, well, why does he think this? I'm going to continue watching.
Yeah, but the thing is, right? He asked a few questions, or repeated himself quite a lot in the beginning, or extended his words somewhat. Then he asked 2 questions, then put the thesis, and then asked 3 other questions. So there, it's not even put questions in the beginning of the video. It's 2 questions, then give reason, then 2 other questions, and then another reason.
Yeah. And so I agree. It's kind of like, that's why I say it doesn't really feel like it has a through line. Like, it doesn't feel like it kind of flows very well, because he kind of and he goes into a bunch of like really kind of pretentious-y type stuff when he's talking about like, oh, this is like the definition of boredom and psychoanalyzation of, like, and this is what the psychoanalysts say about it or whatever. And it's like, do we really need to talk about that? Really? Do we need to talk about that? It's kind of that's where I'm like,
right. So he gave the definition of boredom, but he didn't explain how the definition came to be. Fucking trash video.
Oh, he did use the Latin word for it.
He didn't describe the whole history on how boredom came to exist.
Yeah, he didn't start from like 15,000 BC or
what the great philosophers of ancient Greek had to say about it.
Yeah. What did Syphilis or whatever his name is have to say about
what did Poseidon have to say about
Plato.
it?
What did Poseidon have to say about it? Yeah.
No, but what I also would have liked an investigation of, well, maybe it's the genre. There were way more questions or way more explorations to be had in the question of why am I bored now? Maybe it was the genres, maybe it's the trends, maybe it's the medium, maybe it's the type of delivery. Is he using a tablet? Is he now not on a couch? Is he watching together with friends? How much does he talk to other people about it these days?
Yeah.
Is he more in the mind of scanning it for content, or is it just for his own personal enjoyment? There are so many more, like I said, explorations in directions and factors in that factor in your enjoyment of a thing that you watch or read, that this video is very lacking. Maybe because he already had the conclusion from the beginning, but then it kind of feels like for whom is this video then for himself? Because
David brings up, you know, the idea that he thinks that he made it for new people who go into the extreme like him, and he just wanted to provide an answer to them and bait hardcore fans with a controversial title, which, you know, could be true. Could be true.
It didn't really feel like a warning.
A new video idea. The video idea is going to be a thorough breakdown of everything in Fire Force. Have Fire Force in the thumbnail, but the only thing that's going to be talked about is Soul Eater, and it's just a
You wouldn't even be wrong from what I understand. Fire Force is.
No. I know. What you do is you do that, right? But it's like part 1, and you start with Soul Eater, and then you do, and then
you just never release part 2.
Yeah, I know. And then you could never release part 2, or you could do like every that off. I think it's Akimbo, right? You could do every other manga he's ever done except Fire Force, and go for it. Do like part 2, and it's like like a separate like thing. Like just do every single thing he's ever written, and then never talk about Fire Force.
Title the review that will never end, part 1.
Yeah. And then Samu makes a good, you know, he didn't pray to God to find out what boredom is. That was his problem. He should have prayed to God to find out. Yeah. So I guess that kind of caps off.
Yeah.
Shall we transition to having
It's fine-ish. I think he should just really discover a little bit more in detail on like why he feels this way. Because it sounds like he's trying to explain something, but he doesn't know how to put it to words. And when he does put it into words, it's not exactly correct. I think maybe try to find some balance from that. And then another thing would be, let's see. There was another thing I had in my mind. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't find it that bad per se when the video. I mean, I think it's just more of a contextual thing, but I don't exactly find it that bad when the video is like portraying something and you think it's going to be about that, but it's like a completely different thing. It's like, somewhat. It's like I somewhat have a bit of gripes about people doing that.
I think it kind of it's contextual a little bit.
It's like, okay, it's a little bit off, and it's like, okay, whatever. But it still kind of gets in somewhat of an idea. You think it's going to be about the industry, but it's actually about his internal perspective. Now, if it was like completely out there, like I'm going to show how the anime industry has been stealing $38 billion or something. And then it's just a Roblox Minecraft Let's Play. It's like, okay, now that's egregious.
That's a little bit bad, yeah. So anyhow, I think Elliot wants to talk about how have the holidays been? What have we been up to, guys? What have we been doing? Been doing things?
No. We talked in secret before the stream about this, but we don't know about you. What have you been doing?
I mean, what time frame? Because like
2
I
weeks.
haven't really been doing that much recently.
2 weeks at most.
Like recently, I've been playing World of Warcraft, but I've also been playing a lot of emulation games, like from PS2 era. In the past 30 days, I've probably beat 20 games.
Based. It's pretty good.
Yeah, just pick it up, go beat it. And if it's something like Aminutia 3 or the Uzumaki Chronicles, what's it called? Those you have to beat multiple times to get the true ending. So when I'm saying beat 20 games in 30 days, I'm also including having to beat it multiple times to get the true endings.
So only beat 5 games.
Oh, no, I played 20. It's just I include all those bonus endings as one game.
So it's one game.
What's it called? So like there's 6 endings in Way of the Samurai. You have to go face all 6 of them, and then I also play on the hardest difficulty. I count all that as playing one game.
Right. Okay. Well, all right. Well, that sounds pretty good. I mean, I've been pretty much just chilling and not doing too much. I got myself a Samsung tablet as the Christmas purchase of the year, so I have been getting back into the drawing, doing some art stuff, trying to organize the life a little bit. I did a 10-kilometer walk a couple of days ago, so that was quite fun. We touched some serious grass, out in the middle of the Hidden Leaf Village, so that was quite fun. But yeah, no. Other than that, it's just been usual, just kind of chilling, doing some good stuff. How about you, Ali? What have you been up to?
I know we did our last stream of the end of the year and our animes that we watched. And right after that stream, I did the final stream of Dungeon Keeper. Because I had to beat it that day, because in the day after that day in the morning, I would go to Denmark and the family would gather in a small rental cabin in Denmark, and I was going by train, as in to try instead of going by plane. Was pretty good. I didn't have the best train connections, but 12 hours later I was in Denmark in Stockholm. And that was pretty nice. What's pretty nice is that I don't know how it is over there in your strange countries, but there's first class and second class. Second class is just whatever, just the seats. But it's in the first class in the Netherlands, it's just a little bit roomier seats with a little bit nicer seats.
See, we don't have the luxury of having good trains.
Oh damn! Not even a first and second class, or
we don't even have a train. Well, we have trains, but they don't have like intercity trains that take you.
We don't have first and second class because we thought hierarchy was bad.
Yeah,
I'm sure you don't have hierarchy.
No, it's like the issue is like the New Zealand train network is not great. Kiwi Rail's pretty trash. And they don't I don't think they have that. It's mostly just for economic freight and stuff. I don't think there's really that many trains that do. Like I can't take a train from one city to another, right? That's what I'm saying. Like they don't really have that.
I think the interesting thing, what I just recently been doing, was what's it called? When I was playing Way of the Samurai, I wasn't going for anything, but I went to go and was like, I wonder how fast I could beat this ending, and I did it as fast as I could, and then I went to check the world record, and I was like, damn, I was only a few minutes off, and and I found out why, because I went and watched their run. They didn't use any technique that I didn't use except for one. And that's because I've never actually known about that, is where if you have the ninja sword, you actually move faster. Like, I was like, what? I was like, I didn't know that the ninja sword actually makes you move faster.
Learning that new tech.
But yeah, the German's first class is kind of similar to what I know, but Danish trains are kind of interesting because all the seats are fancy seats. But the difference between first and second class is that in first class you get offered tea and coffee and cookies.
Ooh, fancy.
That's the Danish first class, and second class is first class seats, but you don't get tea and cookies. But Denmark is kind of odd that everybody lives... 90% of Danish people live in the Copenhagen region, so it's all pretty much deserted. That's why all the Danish people have vacation homes everywhere.
Yeah. So David's is like, New Zealand has a lot of great nature. Vacation train had no chance against those. Yeah, well, it's more like there's like... it's more a case of there's like political bullshit around the train thing because Kiwi Rail is like government owned, and there's like they don't want to spend the fucking money to actually set up a train network or whatever, and it's really fucking annoying. I know it's boring shit. I'm not gonna get into it.
Yeah, but right, that was just my going to Denmark. But
you had fun. You had fun times on the train going to Denmark.
Yeah, and then I was in Denmark, and then we went to a castle with the family. We visited the grave of the Danish guy that would, a big stone statue of a Danish guy, and that the statue will rise again when Denmark is in grave danger. The King Arthur sword, Excalibur. Excalibur will, come back when England is in great danger. The Danish have just a giant that will come to life if Denmark is in danger. So I'm not sure who will win against the war between England and Denmark. But after we went to the castle, we went to Copenhagen to shop around, look around. I got myself 2 art books. One of Bravely Default, and the other is of Fire Emblem Awakening.
Ooh,
not because I like Fire Emblem Awakening better than other Fire Emblem games. I think other Fire Emblem games are a little bit better, but it was just a very thick book, a very thick art book. So I bought it because it was big, and I assumed it had every 3D model of every type of weapon would be in the art book, and of course all the NPC classes and whatnot. So I thought, well, maybe it's fun to see all those, fanciful, medieval, magical fantasy characters and their classes and their concept versions. So I got it, and indeed there are concept versions of the classes and weapons and all that. What?
Yeah. Also, Jake, you missed us covering the video, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah. All right.
The VOD will be up, and I'll be timestamping stuff later anyway. So.
Yeah. So and further adventures in Denmark, I watched most of Harry Potter. It was kind of every day of the week on Danish television was a Harry Potter movie. So I watched 2 till 6 of Harry Potter. I didn't watch 7 part 1 to part 2. So that's fun. Also, you really can see the evolution of the filming and how kind of odd it suddenly feels that Dumbledore must die. It suddenly becomes very dramatic. Kind of like it's watching the movies in quick succession. It kind of felt like chasing a trend. That is. Sorry, 5-0. I'm going to be very disrespectful and don't say I don't know who you referencing to Kozaki. Is that in Fire Emblem? Is it in Fire Emblem or is it the Bravely Default? Because both of them are pretty good though. Getting my art books. Nah, it's fine. So I watched on the Disney Plus. I watched Way of Water, the Avatar movie. Nice movie. I kind of wanted a little bit like a Fire Emblem. All right. Way of Water could have been a half hour shorter, and I felt it could have used more other stuff. I also watched the new Ghibli movie, How Do You Live / The Boy and the Heron. If you know D&D, it is pretty much an adventure into the Feywild. If that means anything to anybody here. I finished Cocoon.
Yeah, I saw.
I finished Cocoon, or I bought Cocoon and beat Cocoon, the puzzle game. They got a few awards in the game and Game of the Year kind of awards here and there. And I got myself back into Dyson Sphere projects, got pretty far, and this is kind of the end of my big holiday recap. I did stuff.
You did stuff, yeah.
Watched movies, played games, went to places.
So, Nretsew,
yes.
if someone ever confronts you saying that they've watched like 100 or so anime and haven't found any good one, you just gotta link them that tweet.
yeah. No,
it's like you just haven't gone deep enough, you know.
Yeah.
You're like right there.
I guess we can use that as the transition to talk about the animes, the boring
animes. The very boring animes.
So I haven't caught up with Furin yet, so I'm gonna have to do that at some point, probably today or tomorrow. Yeah, gonna catch up on the elf waifu. But what I have been watching is I've been watching the new anime of the year, Looking Up to Magical Girls, and I'm delighted. I am delighted to inform the chat that they did not fuck it up. They did not fuck it up. They actually fucking pulled through, and it's so good. It's good. So only the first episodes come out, but they actually somehow managed to make it even raunchier than the manga.
You know what they say? The company must be desperate when they're actually giving you what you want.
Yeah, like they delivered. It's actually good.
Nretsew, this does confirm my suspicion that actual more explicit sex is more allowed these days, and I'm so sad that Twitch is walking everything back. It was an improvement. I don't care what anybody says. It was an improvement.
Right.
For good Twitch decisions.
So I linked some stuff in the chat earlier and just now that I don't actually even know if like the Twitter videos are like if you could even get away with showing that on fucking on YouTube, because there's no nudity, but it's like this, like in the manga, like they have like the whole scene where she's spanking the magical girls with her crop, and in the anime they actually show like the panties, and they actually animate like the spanking more directly on the buttocks rather than in the manga where it's like outside the clothes, like it's on the skirt. And you can see that in like the caps in the video that I posted, right?
So I'm going to just show it quick because we're way into the video. We're too small for YouTube to care that much.
Hopefully we'll find.
Hey, look!
That one. So that one was interesting because it was like, I don't even remember that happening in the manga. I think I remember there was a scene with where there was like an undressing happening, but they fucking like, yeah, they fucking like really animated that, like really hard, and I'm like, damn, they spent some time on that one. The spanking part was the other one that I linked, which was the Chibi review tweet.
Yeah, those are manga pages mostly, and I don't. That's too much.
Well, the manga pages. There was the manga pages, and then there was the
tweet where Chibi betrayed us.
Yeah, Chibi. Yeah, I tweeted about that because I think his tweet was shit. Because it's like, oh, this is why people think anime is weird. Irony posting fucking bullshit. Like, fuck off. So I already ranted about that on Twitter. But like you can, but like you can tell, like when you compare like how it's portrayed in the manga versus the anime, like they've definitely like, I think part of it's probably because it's the director of Telovru working on it, and I have a sneaky suspicion that that guy is like putting out his A game to direct it and make it as good as possible. The animation's also not as bad as I thought it was going to be, because obviously it's the same studio that did the Girls Frontline anime we don't talk about. And it's, you know, it's fine for what it is, right? It's not like it's amazing animation, but it does, you know, we're not asking for like fucking, you know, Ghibli level shit here. We're just, you know, as long as the good parts are good, you know, it doesn't need to be too bad. Yeah, Ali throwing the channel on the edge for some tummy. Yeah.
We only have one strike, and it would go away if I do that stupid course on copyright, whatever.
That's not 100% true. I remember someone just recently got their first strike and their entire channel was terminated. They also set a world record at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, the world record was how many N-words you can say in a live stream before it goes down.
Well, we got the one strike from Kalakawa, which Ali needs to do something. You need to do something about that. Get rid of it. But basically, yeah, no.
You also can get rid of it, though. You do that stupid.
I'm not gonna. I know you're the reason we had to do it in the first place. So it's your fucking responsibility. But anyway. Yeah, looking up to Magical Girls is shaping up to be really good. I would highly recommend watching it. High Dive got the ATX version, so it's uncensored on High Dive until the Blu-rays come out, and it's going to be very interesting to compare what was changed between the Blu-rays and the ATX version, because they mentioned that the Blu-rays is going to be even more uncensored, and supposedly they might have more. It'll either have different animation or different vocals in it, apparently. So we will see how that plays out. But yeah, no, definitely watch that. The other one I watched Slave of the Demon Corps. Demon Corpse. That one, not as impressive, but that one doesn't really ramp up in the raunchiness until later on, so it's going to be interesting to see how they go with that.
I have that to watch. How are the CG? Because
it's not Berserk 2016 levels of bad, but it's not great.
We're getting slowly there.
It's not like it's fine for what it is. Like it's kind of like it's not like terrible CG animation, but it's CG animation that does kind of clash with the rest of the show, right? Because you can have situations where the CG is like, okay, yeah, it's CG, but it like doesn't distract from the show, right? Like you just like, I think the Kantai Collection anime had some of that where
we need to take a small moment of silence to remember who is responsible for Berserk 2016. They advertised it as a good thing that they have done for the industry. That is Crunchyroll.
Yeah. So it's one of those situations where I feel like, yeah, because the Kantai Collection anime, at least the first season, had some of the CG, and they would use that for like the boat like fights and stuff, and it was, like you knew it was CG, but it wasn't like terrible, right? You could kind of get it out the way. This is like, I would say that when it comes to Slave, right? I think that it's passable, but it's not good, right? It's in that like it's mid, basically. It's mid-range. Okay, this isn't gonna make me not watch the show, but it is very disappointing, right? And it would be the best way to put it. But anything that's animated in 2D seems to be fine. So it's not like it's horrific or anything. So I would say it's probably one to keep an eye on, because it's similar to looking up to Magical Girls. They're only going to get raunchier as they go. Like I'm very eagerly awaiting to see where Magical Girls go, just because it's fuck that's going to get so fucking intense if they ramp it up from where the manga already is. Chain Soldier is, we'll see what happened. We'll see what happened with that one.
So yeah.
Other than that, I mentioned that I've started watching Immoral Guild, which is basically just this one that's about like monsters having fun with chicks, and it's pretty good. I'll probably have more to say about that once I've like finished it, because I've been kind of taking a break from it a bit because I've been busy. So yeah. That's about all I've been watching right now. What about the rest of you? What have you guys been up to?
I've been watching, Apothecary Diaries. The first episode of the new season has begun, and it's very much a new arc. Interesting. Interesting. I'm going to watch it. It feels there's going to be a small arc of more political intrigue. And of course, that's still interesting, and maybe some, more apothecary shenanigans soon thereafter. But basically, the gist of it is that in the first season, Mau Mau was kind of imprisoned, and now she has a lot more freedoms. So she isn't, a domestic servitude. She's not bound by this domestic servitude anymore. She's now employed. She's
gone up the class ladder a little bit.
Yes. So of course she's still a common girl employed by high nobility people. So she isn't, of course, free to leave or anything, but she isn't, at risk of being
she isn't literally in a cage.
No, she isn't at risk of immediate execution. There needs to be a form filled in first. That's kind of the...
Yeah. You have to do the paperwork now. You can't just kill her on the spot.
Yeah. No, that's kind of the difference between season 1 and 2 right now.
Right.
Freer and continuous almost exactly, or no, where it left off.
It's good. It's good. It's remained good.
New opening, pretty good. New ED. ED is the same song as the first ED. Different ED visuals, completely different art style, different everything. And it's also a kind of a different version. It's either taken from, the same song, but different parts from it. That EDs or songs are 1.5 and the full song is, double that length. Maybe they've picked different parts of it, or maybe it's
switched it up a little bit. Yeah.
Or maybe it's a different song that is a remix of the first. Either or, it's a fresh, it's new, it's already a very kind of a free.
It's already anime of the year for both years.
Yeah, I'll have more to talk about it when I catch up on it.
Yeah, it maintains the good Freeman level of solemn, melancholy, being at the graveyard vibes.
Yeah.
That's kind of about it. I've skimmed through an anime that is it's called The Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic. An isekai where a dude is summoned and has apparently the capability of healing magic.
We were talking about that on the review cast.
I haven't. It's just the first episode, but the premise is that there's this girl, this One-san, that is the healer, and she will just kung fu boxing beat you up to get you. She's part of the rescue squad, you see, so she will beat your ass up with her healing magic. So, the first episode, this guy just gets recruited in the toughest gang around the healing group. And that's the first episode. So I'm interested, and that's about the anime that I actively know of. There is, of course, I'm sure there's another thing that I am continuing to watch, or I'm watching still. I also watch, of course, we're looking up, gushing over magical girls.
Yeah, you're gonna, yeah.
Yeah, like should I use the English title, Mahou Shoujo ni Akogarete, or something?
I think I just say looking up to magical girls is what I use. Because they changed the English, like, fucking like there's multiple ways that you can go about talking, like, well, how you want to do it. Some people go Mahou, I think it's Mahou Anki or Mahou, like, that's one way.
Yeah, the shortening.
Yeah, that people have shortened it to that, and so that's one way you could go about it. So I would say just go with whatever feels comfortable, I guess.
Also, Dungeon Meshi, delicious in dungeon, as Netflix calls it. Another. Now, Dungeon Meshi doesn't translate very well, I guess. So completely changing the title is fine. Looks very faithful. I get I get some weird, odd feelings around the series in general. Also, the manga, it's very good, but it's kind of feels like it's needs a different focus from time to time. So where I left off in the manga was that they were shifting focus for a third time because you can't entertain, an audience on just cooking fantasy monsters in food. So they switched focus a couple of times.
I never really got into it, and I might watch the show, but I'm not 100.
You're not losing anything by watching the show. It's good, but my thing is that it's like in my problems are third season things, so don't worry.
Right.
Not that Netflix is ever going to get free season Netflix show.
Well, all right. Well, I guess we don't need to ask Unknown what he's been watching, because obviously the answer to that question is everything, right? Unknown, like that's what you've been watching.
Yeah,
clearly,
which is actually true, but because
that's what I mean. Like, I don't need to ask you because you've been watching everything, right? So
I've also been not just seasonal, but I've also been watching a lot of Baki, and holy shit,
I have been tempted to get into Baki because it's on Netflix, and you can legally acquire it in other places, but because I have a Netflix things, I could theoretically start watching it. So I've been considering getting into it.
I was watching from the very beginning. I went all the way back to season 1, and was watching from the old shit. It starts out a little slow, but it gets like really fucking good, and then it gets like super fucking good. And it gets to like a 10 out of 10 for a while. And then when you get to, let me look at the name real fast. The specific arc is the Baki Dai. It was so hard to pronounce it. The Raitai Sai Hin tournament arc, which is the Great Raitai Tournament saga. That shit was just so bad. I have never seen. I've never seen a show so fucking good shit the bed so fucking much that I rated it a fucking 1 out of 10. And if you know me, it is so fucking rare. That's
crazy.
Really fucking rare.
See that, but that just makes me want to start it, because I've obviously seen the memes and the shorts and the the Baki shit that comes into my feed all the time, right? So I am familiar enough with the Baki, right, to kind of have an idea of what's going on. But I've already been kind of tempted to like jump in. But now that you're saying that it has this like giant fucking dip, I'm like, that just sounds interesting.
But the thing is, I don't understand, because I am 1.5 seasons after that season, and the writing goes back to normal. And I'm like, what the fuck happened?
So it's like the fucking the Dunning-Kruger curve or whatever. Where it's like it starts out really good, and then it just dips and it comes back up again.
You literally. I'm like, what the fuck happened? It's literally.
I feel like I gotta watch it now just for that, because that sounds fucking hilarious. It sounds like
me and my friend, because Trill, he also happened to be watching Baki. When I talked to him, I was like, "Bro, have you seen Baki?" He's like, "Bro, no way. I'm actually watching it right now." And he's like, "Have you gotten to this part?" And he's like, "Bro, it's so fucking bad." We're like, "Hell yeah!" We both just started shitting on it for hours and whatnot. Just like,
because I know people in the chat probably might not know, but Plot, he's one of our friends that we talk to. He watches Baki as well, because Baki is kind of like this brain rot show where it's like it's so fucking insane. Like, so much crazy shit happens in Baki. With all the different moves and stuff. It's still got good plot and whatnot.
This is what it actually is. Baki takes a bunch of real life concepts and puts them to the absurd extreme that is impossible for the human world, but possible for their world. That's what it is. Like, every single concept you see that they do is a real life concept until we get to that arc.
Right. Okay. So. I think one of the best like memes about Baki that I saw. Did you see the one on Twitter where it was Obama and it was like the Obama meme? He's like, "Oh boy, I guess he can." that actually also makes me tempted, like, because I take it you're watching subbed, right? Because obviously, but I'm tempted by the dub just because of stuff like that. Well, if like the Obama thing, and like it makes me wonder like how bad the rest of the dub is, and if it would actually change the enjoyment of the show, like the campiness of it, to watch it dubbed just for just for that, right? I'm kind of tempted, right? I'm kind of tempted to like watch something with a dub for the first time in like fucking 20 something years, right? Just because of fucking Obama memes.
It's kind of like what the chatter said. You can only have so much peak until you break the scale. It's like, they must have wished upon a monkey's paw or something.
I know what happened. I know.
They went and they put all the bad scenes all into one season.
What happened was, you hit the Gandhi friendliness registry error where it went immediately into the negative.
Yeah.
I was just like, I was so pissed. Not because it's bad, but because I enjoyed Baki a lot. And it's like, oh, what the fuck happened? And it's like, who the fuck made these decisions? Who the fuck did all this? And it's like, it probably was actually the writer, and they just fucking the author or whatnot, and they just fucking did it. Because there's just no possible way you can
it seems deliberate is what you like it seems deliberate is what you're saying. Like it seems like it's a deliberate thing that they
more of what I'm saying is like it is like you can't, I don't think someone could just direct a good show and turn out this bad. Like I don't think you could possibly do that. They had to be working with absolute trash. And that's why I asked Trill. I told Trill, it's like, Trill, you gotta do something for me. You know how much I hate reading manga. Can you go and read the manga and see if this is actually how it's supposed to be? Because this is absolute ass. So they're currently in the process of reading Baki.
All right. Well, we'll get a third opinion then at some point.
Yeah. So just to finish the animes that we're going to that we're watching.
That's not the only thing I've been watching. I've been watching a lot.
You had your turn about talking. You had your turn to spend it all on Baki.
The other thing I was watching was Shaolin Showdown. I watched 2 seasons of that in one day.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Solo Leveling, the first episode is out. I'm going to give that a watch to see what's all about.
Yeah, I gotta watch that too, because that's today, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. After that, it's Metallic Rogue. I sent you the song, the promotional song.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that one too. Yeah.
That's interesting. So I'm going to watch it. It's an anime original, so no manga or anything to fall back on.
Yeah.
Fun speculation time. It's always fun to speculate on anime originals, when they're decently good. Tale of Wedding Rings, I saw some manga shots. I'm not sure if I'm going to watch it, but it might be interesting anyway. It is Time for Torture. That's a definite watch.
Yes, that one's pretty good. Yeah, I've read the manga of that. That's pretty good.
It's fun. It's funny. It's good. I'm going to give Chained Soldier, Slave Wars, Slave, etc. A watch. And there are 2 villainous animes coming, so I'm going to give them both a watch to see how they are doing. That's a lot of anime, but I'm not going to watch them all to the end. I'm going to drop over half of them.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of set what I'm going to watch for now, and then we'll see how the season kind of progresses.
And I say you have to be watching that in one villainous because they use euros in their fantasy world. Unknown, have you seen that?
You showed me that, but I don't.
Oh yeah, I'm going to link to you the money they use in an isekai.
Yeah, they use euros.
Which isekai did you say?
You're going to get transported to the fantasy world of the European Union. It doesn't actually exist. Get transported to the European Union.
But I don't want to be a European.
Too bad. Now you're in the European Union.
Fuck.
Damn. But yeah. So we'll see how the season progresses, and obviously we'll be talking about stuff as the cast. It's kind of as we do casts. So anyway, I guess we're pretty much. I don't think there's much else to really talk about. I think we'll have like an early end this time around.
No, we don't have to go 3 hours every time.
Nah, we don't.
Someone told me that my idea on Shaolin Showdown was just all through nostalgia. It's actually a really shit show from way back when, and I was like, "Bet, let's go." I went back to watch it. I watched 2 seasons in one day, which is 36 episodes.
Yeah,
something like that. 39. It was something like that. I went and watched it all in one day, and I was like, "No, it's just as good as I remember."
Based. So,
like everything I said still holds up like 100%. Especially the most important lesson of them all, that all women have tails.
So in terms of channel stuff, we'll be getting back into the swing of things and finding stuff to cover, and doing stuff. It'll all kind of depend on what our schedules are like, as usual. But other than that, I think we're pretty much done, Ellie. I reckon we.
Yeah, I'm going to leave chats with the visual of actual euros.
All right then. Well,
so
it's been a good.
Here's the fantasy euro. And this is
200 fantasy euro.
And this is the actual euro.
Yeah.
Where are you posting this?
He's doing it on the stream right now. He's got it up.
Look at the bridge, the arch.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah, fantasy euro. Straight up euro.
Even the stupid watermark is.
Yeah. All right then. So it's been a fun time, guys. As always, timestamps will come later on when I get around to doing them, and yeah, we'll catch you guys next time.
Yeah. Later.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, fellas.